Okay. All right. My name is Ray. Haven't seen you in a while. I want my audience to know a lot about police dogs and how they're used and how they affect the public and police officers themselves. My first question is have you ever ran from the cops? If you have, you obviously know how that ends up. Not a very good idea. Um, but a couple of main points that I have is how the K-9 unit affects the public and community, and how it affects the officer themselves and at their home life and how they do that, and also with drug related calls and chasing subjects. So my first main point as for K-9 units is how they help out police officers on the job. On the job, they would be used for drugs, chasing subjects, and sniffing out, say, airports, schools, whatever the use is for. Um, so, say I'm a police officer and I pull some guy over, uh, and I smell either drugs or gunpowder, things like that. And so I would take my K-9 unit and I would walk them around the car, and they're specifically trained to either smell marijuana, cocaine, meth, any type of drugs, or any gunpowder of that sort. So as the dogs are trained to, they would as the dogs are trained, how they are trained is you take either like a towel or any kind of cloth and stick either marijuana, any kind of drug, or the gunpowder in that towel and have them sniff it, and then you would either turn their back, close their eyes, or whatever the case, and you would go plant that towel somewhere, either in a field or say a car lot, just for training, and you would let your dog loose and they would go try to find it. So they would smell it first and then they'd go try to find that towel. Anyway, so as I'm taking the dog around the car, that dog would try to hit on, if it was any type of drug or gunpowder. And what they would, when they do hit, they would either, stick their tail up or jump on the car or bark or whatever the dog is trained to do once they do find something. So that indicates to me as a police officer to, search the car, find the drugs, gun or ammo if it's illegally being obtained by somebody. But so there's one big, big use for the police dogs. Another main point would be how they affect police officers as a whole and at home. So I work with a police officer that has a K-9 unit, and he absolutely loves it. He takes his best friend home and to work all the time. He was always with his best friend. And the time they are ready to be trained is about just when they're, just little puppies and they can, figure out what's going on, is when they're being trained. So right off the bat, they're being trained. So you're with that dog ever since, it opens its eyes and it's ready to go. So you're with your best friend, you take him home to your family every night, and it's a great thing to have. And I've always had a dog with all my life, so that's my goal, is to be a K-9 unit as I'm older. I think it'd be a really great asset. And another main point would, it really helps out the officer, especially with chases. Say if I pull somebody over and they have a warrant or they have drugs in the car, or, have something they're not supposed to, they get out of the car, run, or, if I do lose sight of them, my dog will sniff out their scent and they will go right ahead and go find them just like that. So in conclusion, I hope that you gain some information about how police dogs actually work and how they are used as a tool for for police officers. Thank you. Hope you're doing great, staying healthy.